I'm kind of surprised actually as to like how many like responses I got, how many like comments I got like within like 20 minutes of the video going live. Like, it was really quick, and like I put it out on Twitter and everything. There's 27 comments now, and like as I'm making this, it's like still growing. So I'm basically just, I'm probably gonna do like a part 1, part 2 of this, because this could be like such a diverse like Q&A. I might as well do a part 1, part 2 if I want to fit you all in. So let's get started. Jack Moulton asks, what's your next race? My next race is this weekend. It's in Brecon. It's the Noel Jones Memorial. Simple as that. I'm a first year junior and have done about 1,500 miles this year. Would you say that's enough to say I've got to fit it around college as well, and there is any other advice you'd give me? Good question. As a junior, like, I'd say, like, don't worry about the mileage that you're doing. Like, mileage really doesn't matter. I think I made that big mistake when I was a junior. Like, I assumed that, like, because I was so far behind every other junior in the country, I had to do like twice as much. I was doing 30-hour weeks and things like that, and it just wasn't necessary. As far as advice goes, like, I mean, if I was you, I'd like race as much as possible. Race as much as possible, particularly like criterium style races. They're massive in the UK, so you can find them everywhere. But the reason why I'd say that is because the more experience you get, the more you race, the more situations you put yourself in to create like that race winning situation, the better you'll develop yourself as a bike rider. Richard asks, which would you prefer to win, the rainbow jersey or the yellow jersey? Both. I'd probably prefer to win the yellow jersey. Yeah, yellow jersey. Aaron Horsfall asks a number of questions, actually. There's quite a few good questions here. If you weren't a professional cyclist, what job would you be doing? I'd still be involved in the sport in some way. Definitely. I think cycling now, I'm so deep into it, like, and I have so many like different branches coming off here, there and everywhere with like the cycling club I'm still in, the people that I help influence in the local area. You know, even if I just stayed local, I could still like do something with the sport. I don't know what I'd do, but given my history of like coaching myself when I was younger, nutrition wise, the fact that I've got that like completely sussed out, I think possibly a path down there. But yeah, definitely be in the sport. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would it be and why? Japan. Been there once, raced the Tour of Japan. It was amazing, but I'd definitely go again. It was an incredible place. It was like the set. It was like the movie of King Kong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you stop at a service station on the motorway somewhere, like in the middle of the UK, and it's just like nothing to see there. But then when you go to like Japan, I remember stopping in a service station, and it seemed like the middle of nowhere, but it was actually like engulfed in this massive greenery. Like, it was almost like a floating service station, and the motorway was going past it, but like you had like as far as the eye could see, it was just like forest, like everywhere, and it was like, that's what reminded me of. It reminded me of a King Kong film. Adam Lang asks, are you a full-time cyclist? And what does your team provide for you? Well, Adam, yes, I am a full-time cyclist, believe it or not. I ride a bike for a living. That's pretty much all I do. The team provide us with, like, the bare basics to start with, the bike. But then we have other sponsors as well that are just as big and just as important in the team environment, and they are they're Kondo, JLT, they are Secret Training, supply the nutrition, things like that. So we have like many different sponsors that are just as important. They all chip in just as much as one another. They all supply what we need, and we can't be the team that we are without them. So yeah, we get gels, we get protein powders, everything you'd expect from them, and yeah, we get pretty much everything. The one thing we're waiting on is time trial bikes. I've had one every year since I've been with the team from Kondo, but we haven't had one this year, and that's kind of like because we haven't had any like big time trials yet, so yeah, that's it. Also, like the team provide us with a coach. So our team coach is Tim Kenyuk. You may have heard that name before. He's the brother of Peter Kenyuk, who rides for Team Sky. Tim's a great coach, ex-rider obviously, if some of you have known him, brilliant rider in his day as well, but he's such a good coach because he's a similar age to all of us, so it's kind of like a level ground, we're all on the same kind of wavelength, and yeah, he's good fun to learn off, because he really loves what he does, but he talks in our language. He's not full of numbers, and he's not full of this high-tech lab stuff that we're not all into. Somebody asks, do you think you'll ever make it to World Tour level? It's probably going to sound like stupid to some of you, but I do. I do think I can make it. And it doesn't seem as far off as like when you first started. I think like when I first started, it seemed like that far away. Like really did seem that far away. But then the more I got, like when I first signed for this team, I was thrown into the deep end, and it was like all of a sudden it seemed that far away, and it's starting to get more and more like this. And I think every year developing as a rider. I mean, for me, I came into the sport like late. I came into the sport competitively when I was 17, 18. So I didn't really have that huge backing of fitness that a lot of the youngsters who get jet propelled to World Tour level have had. And I think even though it's a long way off, I still believe I can do it, because it's like you have the vision's there, but then if you see improvements every single year, there's absolutely no reason why you can't be where you want to be. And people can snigger, people can talk, people can say, he hasn't got a hope in hell, but that's for you to say, and for me to prove to you. You've got nothing to do with what I do, so you can say what you want to say, but if I'll do it, I'll do it. If I don't do it, it's off my own back. But you're not going to be right or wrong, whatever happens. Spencer White asks a really good question. How do you deal with not being able to ride due to injury, personal reasons, or personal reasons? Does that affect your mindset and mental state? So it wasn't, not this winter just gone, but the winter before. I had a knee injury. I had an MRI scan on it and everything, and it revealed a deep bone bruising to the patella, to the kneecap. And the day after I did it, I rode my bike like I couldn't even ride across the street. So the street is only like 12, 15 foot wide. I could not ride across the street. I couldn't like physically like bend and move the joint. So I still get food twinges every now and then, but he said like a bone bruising sometimes never ever goes away. But I was off the bike for around 2 or 3 months, and it was like, at first I was in that kind of, oh, this is gonna take forever to heal. You know, I'm never gonna get back on the bike. And then like the second month, I was kind of enjoying not being on the bike. If that sounds weird, like I found like other things to do. I went to the gym. I swam. And when I say go to the gym, I didn't do something that would aggravate the knee, you know. So I still kept in shape. And then when I got back on the bike, I was like reinvigorated with, you know, this new energy to really push myself. And like 2 months after getting back on the bike, I did the Tour Normandy, and I completed the Tour Normandy for the second time, and I actually felt great. So like in terms of losing fitness, I hadn't actually lost that much in the 3 months I had off. But going back to the mindset of it, I think like you've really got to like dampen down like your inner chimp when it starts talking about like you're not going to get back on the bike, you're not going to be able to. You basically got to take the best out of it. You've got to say to yourself, okay, well, I can't use this knee, but I can still do like, I can still work on my core, I can still work upper body, I can still like do dynamic exercises, but they won't, you know, I can like restrict my movement. So instead of doing like a full squat, I'm going to do like a half a squat, because that's not actually affecting my knee. You know, you take little pluses from that, and eventually you'll come out the other side and you'll be a lot better for it. Dundonian Rider asks, what's your thoughts on indoor training, Zwift or trainer road, and what is your favourite indoor session? I'm going to be purely blunt with you right here, but I don't own any kind of indoor trainer. I don't own, like, I own a pair of rollers, but I don't think I've ridden them in like 2 years. I don't have a turbo. Plain and simple reason, like, I don't believe in that. I can't ride a trainer to save my life. I get bored after 5 minutes. I just can't do it. I think, as far as like doing training sessions goes, I mean, like you can. I'm not debating the fact that they're useless. I'm just saying that I don't get on with them. But you can use them to their full advantage by doing short, hard sessions. I'm completely all for that. You know, the more the merrier, especially if you're time crunched. GCN do a lot of that, and their sessions are really, really good, to be fair. But yeah, I don't own one. And as far as Zwift goes and things like that, I've seen a lot of people I'm friends with on Facebook and things who are like really into Zwift and really into like high average speeds and things, and you know, there's resistance and things with Zwift, but like, again, like it doesn't compare whatsoever to anything you do on the road. You know, it's not gonna transfer over. You could be smashing it out on Zwift, but then you'll come out on a chain gang or something, or you'll do a time trial, and you won't be anywhere near anybody else, because you haven't got that kind of, you haven't got that oomph. Like the thing is with like the road, I know I've learned this through training with power in particular, but like you lose a lot of time when you're going over the top of a crest. It doesn't have to be a big hill, it can be a really, really small hill, it can even be a flipping you know, like a speed bump, and people lose time there. So you know, you don't have that in Zwift or a road trainer. You haven't got the incentive to press on over the top of a little drag to keep your power up. I think outside for me is the best place, and that's always going to be the best place for me. I think, to be honest, like, because we've been going for 16 minutes here, I think we're gonna have to wrap up, and we'll just do it. We'll just do a part two, because I haven't even answered half of these questions. Because I'd like to make them in depth as possible, but I don't want to make them too long-winded. So let's just do a part one and a part two. We'll keep it at that. We'll keep you all happy. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like, we've answered like a fair few questions, and hopefully we've covered like a lot of people's bases. So yeah, tune in again, and we'll finish off the questions, and we'll get back to normal service in a few days.